Our next session is Doodle to Innovate, How Small Scribbles Spark Big Ideas, with Rochelle Porter, CEO and Creative Director of Rochelle Porter Design.
Hey, everybody. Woohoo! Thank you so much for being here. I realize y'all could be in a workshop right now learning about like biophilia or AI, but instead you chose to be here. Listen to me talk about doodles for the next 20 minutes of all things, so I'm grateful for that. So I'm Rochelle Porter. I'm the founder and creative director of Rochelle Porter Design. We are a vibrant lifestyle brand and design house based in Atlanta, and we specialize in bold, sustainable, vibrant wallpaper and textiles. And today I want to talk to you guys about a very extremely valuable but pretty underappreciated practice. Okay, so look around. Everywhere in the mart, we're surrounded by sleek designs and big ideas. But a lot of those ideas started out pretty small. It could have been a note in a margin, a little drawing on a napkin, or even a simple doodle. So, and while we see the finished product, we don't consider how the idea started. It could start out as a doodle. So, quick show of hands, how many of you have ever been in like a boring meeting, a rambling conference call, and out of the blue, you started doodling on the corner of your page? Okay, good. Maybe like a cartoon character, or a shape, a little scribble. Yeah, designs. Of course, you did. So congratulations, good for all of you. You may have thought you were just killing time, but you were actually flexing your cognitive muscles. That's because doodling is not just a mindless activity, but a smart, science-backed way to improve focus, memory, and creativity. It can really help us organize our thoughts better, reduce stress, and tap into new ways of thinking. And this in turn lays the groundwork, the incubation for ideas that can grow into something innovative or even life-changing. So today we're going to get into how these simple, spontaneous doodles can really open the door for new possibilities. And this is whether you're designing, whether you're problem solving, or just looking for a fresh perspective. Okay, so not to be too dramatic, but doodling completely changed my life. Yes, so I stand here as a testament to how scribbling on your legal pad at work can lead to the fulfillment of your wildest dreams. So just a little backstory on me. I have never met a blank surface I didn't want to draw on. From the time I could hold a pen, despite the fact that I have no formal art or design background, I've drawn on everything I could find. It could be a styrofoam cup, a sketch pad, a Chinese takeout box, whatever. It's all fair game. If there's a blank surface on it, I'm drawing on it. And I never really saw this as a special talent or a skill. It's just what I did. And there was a time in my life where I had a job that was, let's say, ill-fitting. It was very corporate, very buttoned up. It required long hours. It was decidedly uncreative. And I would just be drained at the end of the workday. I would drive home with my hands on 10 and 2 in the dark in complete silence. But once I got home, everything changed. I would change into some sweatpants, put on some background music, and grab a pen and some paper from my printer tray and just go to town. I would fill pages after pages with elaborate doodles. And it wasn't just because I wanted to, it's kind of like I had to. Just making marks on those pages was life-giving to me. And doodling became the most restorative part of my day. As I made those marks on the page, the stress and anxiety of the workday would just gradually leave my body and just give me peace. And it really changed my life. So I wouldn't just doodle at home, I would doodle at work too. So this job often required myriad back-to-back phone calls, many of which could have been emails, and sometimes they lasted for hours. So I would get my legal pads again and make these copious detailed doodles. My boss at the time thought I was taking copious detailed notes as a conscientious employee. Not true. When she actually found out, she was not a fan. She was not happy at all. until she really realized that I was infinitely more focused, engaged, and productive when my hands and my brain worked together at the same time. That's because people who doodle are known to retain more information than those who don't. And this was proven in a study by psychologist Jackie Andrade in 2009, but we'll get back into that. So how it changed my life. So I had an epiphany one day that these doodles that I did at work on legal pads looked suspiciously like products that I saw at stores like Nordstrom and Target, back when we still shopped at Target. And it led me down a path. This realization let me know that surface pattern design was a thing that people actually did and made a living with it. And I started doing my research, went to trade shows, and now those doodles have turned into a full-fledged lifestyle brand that includes the pillow you see right here and the throw right here. We're gonna do a giveaway later. And we actually have had products in stores like Nordstrom and Target, including other ones like West Elm and Wayfair. Let's see, we've been in glossy magazines and TV shows. I also have an activewear line where the shoes that I'm wearing now come from. And I even won an IIDA award yesterday. Thank you. It's crazy, right? But this is not just about my story. It's really about what happens when we let our minds wander and we explore our creative selves. And doodling helps us do that. So if you find yourself zoning out in your next meeting, you may actually be on the brink of your next big breakthrough. All right, so let's talk about flow. Okay, so how many of you are familiar with Mihai Csikszentmihalyi? Anybody? Nobody. Okay, so he is a Hungarian-American psychologist, and his ideas are as colorful as his name, and he's best known for his research on the concept of flow. So flow is that state where you're so fully absorbed in what you're doing that time just seems to slip away, everything disappears, and you're completely in the zone. This is where we do our best work. Doodling, incidentally, is an easy way to get there. It keeps you focused enough to stay engaged while allowing your mind to relax and explore new ideas. And as I mentioned, there's real science behind it. So I touched on how doodling played a pivotal role in my own journey. Now let's get into how it enhances the way we think, learn, and create. Okay, so the cool thing about doodling is it engages both sides of the brain. The left side, which is associated with language and logic, and the right side, which is more about spatial and visual thinking. This sort of dual activation strengthens neural connections and processing, and this means it turns passive listening into active learning. And by combining movement with visual input, it really helps embed concepts more deeply into our minds. And like I said before, the research shows that people who doodle while listening often recall more information than those who don't. So this was demonstrated by the 2009 study I mentioned by psychologist Jackie Andrade. She divided participants into two groups, and she made them listen to a kind of a long, rambling voicemail. One group was just taking notes regularly, while the other group was given paper to doodle on. Turns out that the doodling group retained 29% more information than the non-doodlers. And she concluded that doodling is not just a distraction, but actually a way to stimulate the brain and keep it alert. It acts sort of like a cognitive strainer of sorts. It prevents mental drift while avoiding mental overload. And this is especially important for people with ADHD and other forms of neurodivergence, because it creates that kind of soothing, low-pressure outlet that supports attention, reduces mental fatigue, and helps with processing information. And this is especially important in environments that tend to bore or overwhelm. Next, stress reduction. So this is probably one of the most immediate benefits of doodling. The repetitive motion can promote calm and shift our brain waves toward that more relaxed alpha state, which is what we often see in meditation. It can also trigger a dopamine release, which we love that, which improves our moods and lowers our cortisol, which is the body's main stress hormone. It's also kind of a simple prescription-free way to quiet our nervous system and gain that sense of well-being. I'm not saying get off your meds, please don't do that. Please consult your doctor for that. And finally, idea generation. So doodling is really an excellent trigger for new ideas. It can help us get into that coveted flow state. And while it may seem like a far cry from complex creative work, it's like a gentle entry point into that state. It quiets our inner critic and gives our minds room to make unexpected connections. And when we stop trying to force those ideas, the mind can really explore more freely. Again, it creates that low pressure environment where our subconscious can play, and which makes it easier to get to those aha moments or those breakthrough solutions. Okay, so as you have probably deduced by now, doodling is not just for artists at all. It's a tool that can spark inspiration across all fields. So you guys may be familiar with Mr. Doodle over here. His real name is Sam Cox, and he is an artist out of the UK. He's best known for covering his entire 6-bedroom house, every inch of it, with his signature monochromatic doodles. And he's been acclaimed all over the world and has made millions of dollars doing it. You may also recognize some of the famous folks on here. We have Frida Kahlo, of course, the famed Mexican artist who's known for her vivid self-portraits. And these are pages from their journals where they doodle. We have Marie Curie, who, of course, discovered radioactivity and won 2 Nobel Prizes. And, of course, we all know Leonardo da Vinci, who was an inventor as well as an artist, and his work is still inspiring creativity today. So if you doodle, you are in great company, and you can use it just like these artists and inventors and scientists did to process information. Okay, so how do I make doodling part of my process? The great thing is there's no formal system for this, and honestly, that's kind of the beauty of it. Doodling is about freedom and flow and not rules and structure. So if you're someone who has never doodled before, but you're looking for a way to get into that flow state, here are some ideas that may work for you. All right, number 1, use what you've got. So if you follow me on Instagram, which you totally should, my Instagram handle is right here, you'll see that I doodle on Post-its all the time with Sharpies that I find on my desk. So you don't need any expensive supplies. You just use what you've got and start. The point is just get started if you don't already. Second, mix the media. So if you have the bandwidth and the supplies, you can play around a little bit. It can be refreshing to use paints. I personally love my iPad. I take it everywhere I go. Even just changing the size and weight of the paper that you draw on could spark new ideas. You can also do it on the fly. So doodle during those everyday moments. You don't have to carve out any special time for it. You can do it while you are in a meeting, while you're waiting for your Uber. Just take those little windows to let your brain and your pen move at the same time. And finally, be messy. Messiness is not just allowed, it's encouraged. We're not chasing finished masterpieces here. We're giving ourselves rooms to think differently. And sometimes that messy, unfinished little doodle can lead you somewhere unexpected. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. The goal is not to become a better artist. It's about opening up space for ideas to flow. Okay, so here's what I want you to carry with you. Doodling is not about idle scribbles on a page. It's a way to clear mental clutter, de-stress, and reconnect with our creative selves. You don't need fancy tools or even a plan, just a blank surface, something to write with, and a few moments to zone out. If you're not currently a doodler, give it a try. Go crazy with the Post-its and the legal pads and the Sharpies or whatever tools you choose. You'll be surprised where it can take you. It may even change your life. Thank you. And we're gonna do a giveaway, so first person to come up to me and give me their business cards gets a pillow or a throw. Thank you.